Welcome back to Orange Hat Reviews, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about the Stanley's daughter weighing in and siding with Sony on the failed negotiations of Spider-Man's rights. TMZ has the story, the exclusive, and Stanley daughter sides with Sony over Disney in Spider-Man MCU split. The late Stan Lee, who co-created Spider-Man, would have been happy over the news that Sony pumped the brakes on giving Disney control over his character, Sosas' daughter. I honestly agree with that statement because I honestly think a lot of what Disney has been doing with their Marvel content is stuff that Stan Lee would not approve of. Not since he has died. Sony's move to limit control over Spider-Man and potentially remove the superhero entirely from Disney's Marvel Cinematic Universe, rather, is one that was necessary and something Stan would have appreciated. Sosas' daughter, Joan Celia, sorry about that, Lee. In case you missed it, reports surfaced that Tuesday Sony and Disney reached a standstill negotiating Spidey's future under Disney umbrella, including Avengers spin-off sequels. Insiders told Deadline it was all about money. Disney wanted a 50-50 take in Spider-Man related revenue, and also wanted Marvel honcho Kevin Feige to be the guiding hand. Well, Sony was reported not too down with that. They own the rights to Spider-Man and until now have partnered with Disney to crank out these last few films. That's all over now. And as for how the Lees feel about it, JC tells us, Marvel and Disney seeking total control of my father's creations must be checked and balanced by others who, while still seeking profit, might or have genuine respect for Stan Lee and his legacy, aka cameos don't cut it. She goes on, whether it's Sony or someone else, the continued evolution of Stan's characters and his legacy deserves multiple points of view. When my father died, no one from Marvel or Disney reached out to me. From day one, they have commoditized my father's work and never shown him or his legacy any respect or decency. Damn! Her parting words, in the end, no one could have treated my father worse than Marvel and Disney executives. Ouch. So basically, Joan Celia Lee has a message to Disney. Screw the mouse. And I agree with her. Because frankly, that is all Disney cares about. They care about the profit. They care about the money. They care about owning everything. But because Sony stood up to them and said, nope, they are now pissed off. And there's a bunch of fans. There's like 70,000 fans that created and signed a petition to keep Spidey in the MCU. Well, I hate to break it to you, but petitions are not going to help. Maybe if you guys actually cared more about decency and such, and not about Disney and the fact that it's just Marvel, you might actually realize that there's some real moral things going on in this whole thing. Disney is not the oh so angelic crap that you think it is. They deny people stuff that Stan Lee would have never denied fans of things that were going on. Like the parent in Britain who asked Marvel for permission to have Spider-Man on his 4-year-old son's headstone because the son was a very huge fan of Spider-Man. Stan Lee would not only have said yes, he probably would have paid for the headstone. But Disney gave 3 lying excuses. One, they don't want Spider-Man associated with death. And, well, okay, but his uncle's death kind of inspired him to take on the mantle of Spider-Man. Oh, they want to maintain Spider-Man's innocence. Spider-Man literally made a deal with the devil in the comics. Disney Comics, by the way. Yeah. And, oh, well, we don't do that for people. Guess what? You guys did it 2 or 3 years ago, I think it was, for a family who had a kid die, and he was an Iron Man fan, and he had Iron Man slapped on the headstone. So don't tell people that you don't do that for people. Stan Lee would be ashamed of what Disney is doing with Marvel. It is a shame that Disney continues to abuse Marvel, and people are so blind that they can't even see it. That's why I call them blind fans. Because if you are a blind fan and you cannot see the evil that Disney has been doing, that means you only care about it because it's Disney, and you don't care what they do as long as they give you your precious good content, which isn't even that good anymore. MCU went on the decline after when Captain Marvel hit theaters. And actually before they hit theaters, because of the controversy that the marketing created with the Rotten Tomatoes thing and all of that. Take it from somebody who was actually part of that controversy. All I did was click a not interested button, and I gave my reason. I am not interested in seeing a movie whose actress has very divisive and racist comments regarding people who are not of the same gender. All I did was explain that, and people spoke with their voices, and Disney had them censored when they got in touch with Rotten Tomatoes and said, "You need to stop this," because Captain Marvel's interest level dropped down to 25% interested. And don't tell me that Disney had nothing to do with it. The CEO of Fandango used to be a higher up at Disney. So there is a connection there. So yeah. Also, when Captain Marvel hit theaters, they critic that for Sci-Fi came out and said, we have to fudge reviews. Otherwise, we don't get our early press screenings. We have our early screening rights revoked. And we possibly lose our jobs if we don't placate to Disney and other movie studios. We have to shit on other studios but make Disney look good, basically. That's why movies like Godzilla and Alita didn't do well in the box office. Because the critics who get the early screening passes have to fudge their reviews. Basically, they'll mark it good or fresh, but they'll say, well, the movie isn't that good. Or they'll mark it rotten, and they'll give it glowing praise. The point is, Rotten Tomatoes and professional critics can't be trusted anymore. But back to the whole Stan Lee thing, I side with Stan Lee's daughter, and I believe that Stan Lee would also side with Sony. She knew him better than any of us, so I believe that what her word says is has a lot of merit. Anyway, that is the video. If you guys want to go over the whole Captain Marvel thing, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. But what do you also think about Stan Lee's daughter basically saying F you to the mouse with this story? Basically saying how her family and Stan Lee's legacy has been disrespected and trampled upon by Disney. Let me know in the comments below. You guys all know the drill. That's the video. Like, comment, subscribe, share, all that jazz. This has been Orange Hat Reviews, and I'll catch you on the next one.